My lovely, beautiful, sexy, big booty, big booby, blonde, lovely girlfriend decided to message me this Jordan B. Peterson clip today. Apparently this is from October 18th. And she told me that apparently Jordan Peterson gets pretty based here. She timestamped it and messaged me the link and everything. So apparently Jordan Peterson talks about incels here, and he actually has a good take. And you know what? That has me intrigued. So let's go ahead and give it a watch.
A lot of young men have been sharing with me, and I'm not sure how much you've heard of it or experienced it. They've been sharing that, that they feel as though the average woman has no desire for the average male, and that because...
This is just not true, by the way. All right, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. It is not true that the average woman has lost a desire for the average male, okay? I'm not even that good looking, okay? I make jokes about being super good looking, but I'm about as far as guys go. I'm pretty average, I'd say, and I have not had a problem when it comes to women. What gave me a problem with women when I was younger, and mostly when I was younger, was the fact that I was younger and that I was cringy and that I had the attitude of, frankly, I probably had the attitude of most of the dudes who asked that question.
Of things like social media, online dating, things along those lines, as well as just some of the female empowerment, where a lot of women have this is what they say, an elevated sense of self, that now they feel like they're above a lot of these average males, which also contributes to a disparity between young adults being able to connect and form meaningful relationships.
Yeah, well, women are more picky in their mate choices than men, especially sexually. That's true. The case in every culture. It's not surprising, because women have more at stake sexually than men do, per episode, because men don't get pregnant, obviously. And so that female pickiness that's the case. That's definitely true. Whether it's worse now or not, I doubt if it is. I would say to young men who are irritated at women is, if you're irritated at women, as a class of creature, there's something wrong with you, because they're right. You're wrong. They're right to not pick you. If they're not picking you, it's because they're right.
Wow.
Now, that might get... I know that's a terrible thing to...
For so long in Jordan Peterson's career, I saw his advice. Even when I was a reactionary, I watched Jordan Peterson's videos and I listened to his advice. His advice was always coddling. It was always so coddling. Always. It's not really your fault. You're just in a bad place right now. If you work on yourself, then, you'll be happier and you'll feel better. But sometimes these people need to hear a little bit of tough love. Sometimes, yeah, you're wrong. You don't deserve better sometimes. Maybe you are kind of unworthy of being in a relationship with somebody. If your attitude is the way that it is, if you're blaming women, yeah, then you are the one who's wrong. If you're blaming women for your problems when it comes to relationships, then yeah, they're right not to pick you. A surprisingly mature and good take from Jordan Peterson. I respect it.
To say, and I know perfectly well, it wasn't like I was particularly successful with girls when I was young. So I know what that rejection is like. I know what that fear is like. I don't know it as well as some men know it, because I wasn't rejected outright. But what you have to understand is that, what do you expect from women? If you got pregnant because you had sex, you'd be pretty damn choosy too. So, clue in a bit. And then, well, don't they find you attractive? Well, maybe you're not. Have you paid attention to how you dress? Do you have a plan? Are you as educated as you could be? Are you a liar? Are you a rabid pornography user? Because maybe that's undermining your motivation.
I mean, yeah, let's be real. We've talked about this before, but I think that porn addiction can be, by conservatives in many cases, overstated. Obviously responded to the John Doyle video a while back. And hey, by the way, I did exactly as I said I was going to do in the John Doyle video, by the way. His video about porn and nofap. I ended up doing all of No Nut November. And unfortunately, the lock and load didn't arrive before November 1st, so I wasn't able to take the lock and load all November. But I did take it most of November, and it's getting pretty low. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's probably a third left in this thing by now. So, and yes, I can confirm that if you already make plenty of cum on your own, lock and load will help, okay? Lock and load will increase volume even if you already make a lot, all right? I can confirm. So if you're out there and you're like, you know, I already make quite a bit of cum, what would it look like if I made even more? It works. I've tested it. It's worked. It's working. It's definitely working. Anyway, I do think conservatives have a tendency to overstate the degree to which many men in society face porn addiction. I think there's a very big difference between like once a day or even twice a day, just like jacking off to let off steam if you're bored or whatever. But if it's getting to the point where one, masturbation is taking up so much time and effort and so much thought and space in your mind that's causing you issues, of course that's a problem. And of course there's also issues that can come about from exposure to porn. Obviously a lot of these men, there's a lot of men that learn sex basically from porn and it just doesn't work out for them. You know, they end up kind of embarrassing themselves. Don't learn about sex from porn. It's not going to teach you very well. But yeah, basically, where is this stream going? Up your ass.
Motivation to seek out a woman and
I love you,
grow
buddy.
yourself up. It's like, if you're rejected constantly and you're out there really trying, you know, because that's another thing to ask yourself is, well, how many women have you actually asked out? And are you so sure that you're not picking women who will certainly reject you because you're trying to bat out of your league? Because you might be. So, and I'm speaking about this as a clinician too, because I had plenty of men in my practice who were, you know, radically unsuccessful with women. I had one man in particular, he was so afraid of women, he couldn't use the phone. He was too afraid of everyone to use the phone. And he had been bullied like mad, and you know, he had his problems. So I know what this is like, but pornography is a big problem. It's a big problem. It's a real curse.
There are well, I wouldn't say pornography is a curse. This is getting a little bit less based. I don't think the blame is on pornography. I think the blame is on the way society treats pornography. I think the way that society has stigmatized it has made it into something that the consumption of it, instead of being seen as a thing that can be healthy, is almost in and of itself seen as something shameful and dangerous and disgusting. And because of that, it almost seems like that alone can have negative impacts, right? I feel like if we were a little bit less prude about these things, and I'm not saying that we need to just completely let go of standards in regards to our society, but I think if we let down a little bit on the amount of prudeness we had around sex and porn, I feel like you'd find a lot less of the negative outcomes that occur from porn happening, right? Like, fuck. How many dudes do you think how many guys go to school, they're never really taught sex ed, their parents are probably too fucking awkward to want to explain it, or any of the, you know, finer details of it, and so they end up learning everything they know about sex from porn, right? They end up learning that, like, the average dick size is like 12 inches long. It's like 12 inches long or whatever, and that, like, most women are going to be fine with you pile driving them. Generally, there can be some bad ideas given off by that. Now, does that make porn bad? Of course not. It makes the fact that we don't have proper systems to educate people about sex before they discover porn. That's the problem.
It's that pornography, in my opinion, because it's an easy out. And so we don't know what the consequences of that are. We're starting to understand some of them, but
only if she's stuck in the washing machine, Torgo's hand. Only if she gets stuck in the dryer.
If you were better, you'd be more successful with women. Yeah. So you have to have that in your mind, and they're not. You cannot be angry at women. It's stupid.
Can't.
Women.
True.
It's like women being angry at men. It's a sign of psychological trouble, that.
So you feel as though Dr. Peterson is that, you know, for the men who are complaining about the standards of women today and it being elevated, that
a surprisingly not bad take. I actually have to interject a little bit more defense for Jordan Peterson here, because unfortunately, Hassan and Ethan Klein are going to have to get a little bit of a call out done on them today. Somebody messaged me about this while I was on my break, and I actually intended to cover it yesterday, but unfortunately I was just too busy, and I just got reminded of it now, so I feel like what better time to cover it than now? All right, guys, what would you say if I told you a YouTuber or a large public figure, what would you do if I told you that they were selling a statue of themselves, but it was a lie and it wasn't true? What would you do if you found out I lied to you about something like that, or had gotten something like that wrong? Well, you'd probably be fairly upset, and frankly, you'd probably expect some type of acknowledgement of the mistake in some way, shape, or form. And unfortunately, I had someone reach out to me recently telling me about this clip from a recent episode of the H3 Leftovers podcast, the podcast that Hassan Piker and Tim Pool do, or not Tim Pool, and Ethan Klein do. And I believe it's from this episode, actually, and here's the clip from it. Jordan Peterson is selling a statue of himself. Now, if we go ahead and we watch the video, we can see, like, here's the statue, Jordan Peterson statue. Now, they go on to talk about the statue and how ridiculous it is for Jordan Peterson to be selling a statue of himself, and, you know, they make fun of it and everything, and, you know, that's all well and good. The problem is it's a complete lie. Jordan Peterson is not selling a statue of himself. It's just not true. He isn't. This is a completely separate company that has nothing to do with him that is selling a statue of him. It isn't him. It doesn't seem to have anything to do with him, from what the person who reached out to me showed me. And apparently Hassan and Ethan Klein never once acknowledged that fact and have yet to speak out about it. I don't want to make this into a huge call-out post or anything, but I wanted to add this at the end since I figured now's a better time than any to talk about it because there isn't really much to say. But yes, Jordan Peterson said some base stuff about incels, and unfortunately Ethan Klein and Hassan Piker did a little bit of lefty misinformation and lied about Jordan Peterson selling a bust of himself. And you may argue that that's like that's not a big deal. Like, oh, why do you care that Ethan Klein and Hassan made a mistake and you know, said that Jordan Peterson was selling busts of his head? Well, let's be real. The accusation that a large public figure is selling busts of their own head, I would argue, is a fairly substantial one, since that's ridiculous and obviously deserving of mockery. So why don't spread misinformation about someone like that doing something like this? Don't do that. Even if we don't like the person in question, we probably shouldn't lie about them, right? Anyway, yeah, didn't they clarify that in the new episode? Has there been a new episode since then? Oh, no, they didn't clarify? Oh, okay, they didn't clarify it in the new episode that came out today. Ooh. They also reacted to the base take on incels? Oh, well, at least they reacted to that. No, that's definitely pretty fucked if they didn't react to it. I assume they don't know, but the fact that, like, that little research was done behind the scenes is certainly worrying. You're an actual Jordan Peterson fan? Well, as long as you stay on your best behavior, I'm sure you'll be fine in this chat. Anyway, yeah, I mean, pretty fucked up to just not correct that, because, even if you don't like Jordan Peterson, don't make shit up like that, or at least do the bare minimum of research to confirm whether or not something like that is true. And don't get me wrong, I'm fine with Ethan Klein, and I'm mostly fine with Hassan. I have my criticisms of him, but I mean, I think he's an okay guy. But like, I mean, I expect them to acknowledge that mistake, you know? It's okay to lie for the cause? No, it's not. I mean, it depends, but not when it comes to like people's, like, not something like this. Not something like this. Even then, no, I don't even know if it's okay to lie for the cause. It's like, you can lie for the cause if it's like, how many quarters do you have in your pocket, all right? And if you have 3, you can say you have 2, all right? That can be the lie for the cause that you tell, all right? But I don't think it's a good idea for people on the left to make a habit out of being okay or letting it slide when misinformation is pushed by a large public figure. Hassan is the largest left-wing public figure there is right now, I'd argue. Yeah, I'd say Hassan's probably the biggest right now. Maybe tied with ContraPoints, the two of them. You gotta be responsible with your messaging, okay? And I mean, whoever did the research for that story on Ethan's podcast definitely did not do the bare minimum of research there to figure out that wasn't Jordan Peterson selling his own bust as a thing that you can buy. Anyway, though, those are my takes on the clip. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like on the video and on the stream to help both things out, or commenting down below on the stream and the video, because it also helps both out. And if you want to see more from me, consider subscribing, ringing the bell icon so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. You can follow my social media, all linked down below in the description. And of course, you can donate to me to support me financially through my website by subscribing, gifting a sub, or even just donating, or donating to me through Streamlabs, or you can support me on YouTube and Twitch. But no matter how you support me, whether it be through a like, a comment, a view, or even a donation, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and have a good one.